Well, good morning, everybody. How's it going? Happy Monday. Happy beginning of the week. We got a special guest here today, completely impromptu. Had no idea I was even going to have him on. But BC, welcome, man.
How you doing today?
I'm tired as hell, but I'm here, man. You
I
know what?
feel it.
Let's flip this around because you don't want everybody's words all over your face here. We'll move you on over there. How's everybody doing this morning? Decided to go live a little bit early. Wasn't quite prepared to go live when Piper dropped off there, but boom, here we are. We're gonna get through this, and hell, we'll probably end up being done early ourselves here today. But appreciate everybody being here. You know the drill, smash the like, that kind of thing. Appreciate everybody. Just to give you an idea, we're going to be talking obviously about that solo miner that hit a block here in Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about New Hampshire basically doing a first Bitcoin bond. I've got a bunch of information on that. We're going to probably spend a little bit of time there. And are you looking for like stocking stuffers? Maybe a MetalMark aurum. Nice Santa Claus one. We'll do it for you. Stick tight. We're going to go look and see what they've got available. But before we get going on that, let's go say hi to the chat, BC. First off, I got to go see who the heck is here. Army Piper obviously stopping by, but he's got to go get... Listen, right after I'm done here, the wife is already waiting for me. That's what we're going to do. I got to go to the store, get the last of the Thanksgiving stuff. So I completely understand that. Luco for crypto. Yes, let's go. Again, sorry for the slow start this morning, but Piper dropped off before I knew it. And Andy's in the house. Appreciate you being here. Yes, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Automatic beats as always. And listen, man, appreciate you being here, even if it's from the gym. Get swole, bro. There you go.
That's one way to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
I used to do a lot of trading at the gym, actually. Every single morning, I'd go to the gym, and it's like, well, this is the best time to trade. London's going. So, yeah, I'd just trade from my phone.
Well, hey, if it works, it works, man. You need that little rest period in between yeah, so there you go. Why not? All right, BC, what do you say? Let's LBC just jumped on in here. Welcome, LBC. Appreciate you being here. All right, let's jump on in. What do you say? This was the first thing I want. Usually what I do, guys, you know the drill. Normally Joe is here. Obviously, he's had that change in his schedule. He's not here. And so I'm very thankful for BC being here this morning. But we are going to talk through Bitcoin news first. We're going to take a look at the fear and greed. We're going to take a look at the debt, the DOGE, and then we're going to go on with all that other stuff I was mentioning a moment ago. But here we go. Bitcoin solo miner catching a block. I know a lot of people are very poo-poo on the whole Bitcoin solo miner thing, and you're like wasting your time, your energy, your whatever. Okay, maybe, but you want to know what? When one of these things, and again, this is completely a CCM opinion, but when one of these things hits a block, you just hit the lottery. So why not? If you've got the ability to do it for $150 and what, I don't know, $10 a month in electricity, if you got super high electricity rates, you got a shot at winning $250,000 today's prices, never mind anything else. BC, what are your thoughts on the whole solo mining thing?
I think it's dumb.
Okay.
Well, it's like when you know that there's a legitimate way, or even if you don't solo mine and you're just mining in a pool, and like you're paying someone else that has like the proper equipment, and you know what the ratio is that you're gonna make per what you're putting in, that seems like a whole lot better way to do it than just spending $125 on a gamble. Well, it's like over your lifetime, if you paid someone like Crypto Jar to mine Bitcoin for you, he can tell you exactly how much Bitcoin you're going to get a month. And same with like Buck,
Yep.
Like those guys, you pay them, they'll tell you how much hash rate you bought, how much of a machine you got, how much it's going to pay you out every month. That seems like a better, like it's not a gamble. You're actually going to get paid. And that,
Yep.
like, that's what mining is a bit about. I don't like gambling. Gambling to me is dumb. So, you know, I'm here to make money.
And like I said, some people, and here you go, you just got it right here live. But you know, I don't care about that. That it's kind of like my DCA hodl strategy. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a flying whatever about what the price does because I'm DCAing anyway. You know what I mean? So I kind of look at it, I guess, from that mentality. Although I will say that the BitAxe that I have, I'm swapping that out to mine Litecoin because there's a pool there. You just get persistent, consistent, whatever the word is that I'm looking for, returns with regard to that. And yeah, I'm with you, Automatic Beats. I mean, that's really nothing in the big scheme of things.
Yeah,
And
but like you could also, whatever the 100 watts was going to cost you a month, you could just literally pay someone to mine for you and you would get legitimate profit every single month, which seems like a better use of your money. It's like, okay, $2, like at least the $2 would get you something as opposed to nothing.
there you go.
That's where I'm at, where it's like, if you're going to spend money at Bitcoin, you might as well get some Bitcoin back.
I got it. And I know BC mentioned Buck's mining situation. I don't have that link in the description, but he did mention JAR, and there is a link to that in the description. Feel free to go ahead and check that out. And to answer your question right here, Loco, it was supposedly, according to that, a BitAxe Gamma that hit that block. I think it's actually worse odds than playing the actual lottery. You know what? You might be right with that, LBC. You absolutely might be right about that. Yeah, winning the actual lot. Yeah, I got what you meant, man. I got you. And Techman is in the house. Welcome, sir. Appreciate you being here. And what's this? I can attest to that. BC bet like $20 in Vegas and lost.
Like, don't gamble. To me, it doesn't like it just doesn't seem like an enjoyable time. Whereas, like, if I'm gonna put money out, I want something in return, as opposed to, it's like there's better ways to like spend money and have fun, you know.
Yep. And maybe at the end, to me, it's just like I get to be part of the process. If I win, bonus. If not, I'm still part of the process. That's kind of like how I'm feeling that. And Automatic Beats is following up with this. And listen, I like Digibyte, quite frankly. Always have, way back from when. But you know, it is what it is. Mine, you know, whatever makes you happy. That's the way. Yeah, that's the great part about this space, right? Whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. It's all good, man. We're staying way on this ahead of this, and I just saw JR coming on in here. Welcome, sir. Appreciate you. But let's keep this thing moving along here. And another piece of Bitcoin news. I wanted to just bring this up. Now, is this going to go anywhere? Probably not. But you know, that recently this Congressman Warren Davidson, honestly, not really all that familiar with him, to be completely honest, but he's introduced a bill into Congress where you can now pay your taxes in Bitcoin. And quite frankly, not that I would be paying my taxes in Bitcoin, that's my Bitcoin, but whatever. But here's an option in to meet the executive order that was put out to do a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the US in a neutral way. So we'll just run through this real quick, and then BC and I can hash this out for a sec.
Congressman Warren Davidson is introducing a new bill to codify Trump's executive order for a U.S. Bitcoin reserve. Congressman Davidson joins me now. Congressman, a series of questions here. Number one, what is a Bitcoin reserve? What does it do? And how do you build it?
Well, first of all, the president created a strategic reserve of Bitcoin in part because the United States government didn't have like a single custodian. You had every agency in the government that might have had an asset, seized an asset, or anything else, any kind of digital asset. They didn't have custody of it, so they were losing track of the private keys. So essentially, when you lose your keys, you lose. It's like losing a pile of cash.
Yeah.
So they created an organized way and put it under Treasury to say, hey, we're going to have a single custodian for all of the Bitcoin, kind of like Fort Knox for crypto, right? Okay. And then they said, well, not all crypto is created equally. Bitcoin we want to hold on to. It's an appreciating asset over a long period of time. Some of these other things, we should just sell them off and buy more Bitcoin. But they wanted to do it in a deficit neutral way. And I think a lot of people have been like, well, how else do you put money in there? And so we're introducing legislation that not only codifies that executive order, so there's a common sense way to have custody for the Bitcoin and other digital assets, but you can contribute. So when you pay your taxes, you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is currency in that sense, and there's no capital gains. So for people that have held Bitcoin,
and no capital gains, an important point. Now I know BC doesn't agree with selling all those other shit coins, so he loves stacking those. But anyway, listen. I mean, I like I said, I don't see this particular bill going anywhere right now. At least right now, maybe in the future, who knows? But I guess I like the idea because maybe people want to do that to help the country. Who the hell knows? BC, thoughts?
I mean, the only way I see it as a feasible option is if you're like, okay, well, so originally you would owe $20,000 in taxes, but if you pay in Bitcoin, you can pay like $5,000 because we know it's an appreciating asset. So over the long term, you're actually paying in on something that's going to do some good, as opposed to, it's like if you're paying cash, they're not really getting any value out of it because the dollar doesn't have value. So, if you're going to pay in Bitcoin, you should get a discount, and that would actually incentivize people to pay in Bitcoin.
Yep, I agree. And the idea of no, because right now we're dealing with capital gains, none of that crap. Yeah, absolutely. And I see we got a couple of comments. Yeah, Bitcoin Radio, welcome first off, and yeah. Probably much more likely back to our big solo mining thing to hit the lottery, no doubt at all. And LBC, you know what? Absolutely. I'm not Bedell. So yes, I try to pay the taxes as we got to pay the taxes. It is what it is. All right. Listen, we're going to move on to the next piece. And this next piece, let me just bring this up on the screen as I kind of prep through this. New Hampshire is basically first in the country on a lot of different things. In this particular case, officially launching the first Bitcoin bond. That is humongous. And I've got a couple of pieces of information to go through with regard to this. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's start with going through the outline that Eleanor Tourette did. Again, links to everything I talk about in the description. If you're not following crypto in America, you really need to. She's getting insights and exclusives on so many different things. But basically, this is her overview of that. I'll read through it really quick, give you the highlights. New Hampshire just became the first state to approve a municipal bond backed by Bitcoin, a milestone that could pave the way for digital assets to enter this particular market, right? On Monday, the state's business finance agency, the BFA, which you're going to hear more about in the next piece I've got to talk about here, or that they're going to talk about, approved its first of a kind $100 million Bitcoin-backed conduit bond, letting companies borrow against an over-collateralized Bitcoin, which is obviously being held by a private custodian. I'm pretty sure it's BitGo in this case. While the BFA is a state entity, the bond itself isn't backed by the state or the taxpayers. Instead, the BFA acts as a conduit, approving and overseeing the deal without taking on any repayment risk, which it sounds quite interesting. So you kind of get the basics of what they got going there. Now, this is where I'm going to pivot for 1 second here before we get into the next piece, because we're going to actually listen to the Blockchain Council, the New Hampshire Blockchain Council, discuss this and outline it. And this video, or the portion of this video that I'm about to share, is from the Free State Bitcoin Digital Asset Conference I was at about a month and a half ago. Here's my shtick, I guess, my spiel. If you're not going to regional conferences in your area, you are missing out. And when I say regional conferences, Bitcoin conferences, blockchain conferences, those kind of things. I get it. Everybody wants to go to like the Bitcoin conference, let's head to Vegas, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying don't do that. But a lot of times in these local regional conferences, you're getting huge quantities of information. You're getting insights into things that are coming in your area that you can actually have direct influence in if you are in that state, that kind of thing. So I'm a huge proponent of that, and to that end, I'm going to prove it when we watch this video. But before we go to the video, BC, anything you want to add about that? I know you just went to the Bitcoin conference, so any additions, subtractions? Am I an idiot? Whatever.
Honestly, I think everyone should go to the Bitcoin conference at least once.
Okay. And I'm not disagreeing. I think the Bitcoin conference makes sense. It's just I also I'm looking at it from my personal lens. Yeah, I ain't got that kind of money to be putting it together to even travel, be there for a week, whatever the deal is, even with a free ticket. So I got to believe that maybe not the people necessarily watching right now, but maybe the people who end up watching on the replay or just crypto curious, for lack of a better word, that might not be an option for them. But to go local, even regional, I think is a viable option. You can drive, right? Public transportation, even. One of the conferences I went to in Boston, it was public transportation I took. I wasn't driving in Boston. Screw that. But like, it's like screw that.
You might get carjacked if you drive in Boston.
Yeah, well, that's also true. That's also true. Yeah, so I don't know. That was my thought process. And but BC's right. BC makes the point that if you can get to one of these, like for example, if that was more close, that if that Bitcoin conference last year was closer to me, winner chicken dinner, right? All right. I just want to, but to the point of pro regional conferences. Again, they literally talked about this, and I'm going to let this run. It's about 3.5 minutes long. I know it's longer than I normally like to let run on this particular show, but he outlines what this bond is going to be. So I'm going to let him talk about it right here.
I'm squirming in my seat because I want to spill some beans. Go for it. I think this is probably a good place to do it. Yeah. So we got attention on the state about Bitcoin being the first. And so a bunch of these big digital asset companies have been coming to our state and meeting with the treasurer and the governor's office and so forth. Well, there's an idea that's working its way. I've asked permission to talk about this with the people involved, and they said, sure, tell everybody. But I don't want to jinx it too much, right? So,
he didn't jinx it, obviously.
We're working on right now. There's a law firm in Concord working on this on behalf of CleanSpark, which is a big Bitcoin mining company. Wave Digital Assets, Anchorage, you probably heard of Anchorage, which is the first digital native bank federally chartered. And our state has this. It's called the Business Finance Department. It's a creation of the state government, but it operates independently. And its job is to finance businesses in the state of New Hampshire in a revenue neutral way. And so the idea is the BFA can issue something called a conduit bond. And I won't get into all the the inner workings of it, but it's basically a bond backed by Bitcoin that a large insurance company would buy, like $100 million bond for the first one. But the BFA is working on making this a machine. They're going to issue these for all the miners. It'll be the first state-sanctioned Bitcoin-backed bond. And the miners are sitting on all this Bitcoin that they don't want to sell and trigger a tax event, or they want to financialize it. So it's a perfect opportunity. The state would get some reputational risk if things went south. That's really the big downside. But it would get a portion of the upside. And it goes to the BFA, not the general court. So it goes to the BFA. They're going to use it to fund a new industry in the state. And the director of the BFA, James Keywallace is his name, his idea is, well, let's keep half of the proceeds in Bitcoin and have the very first Bitcoin loanable funds through the Business Finance Authority so that we can encourage crypto industry in the state. So fingers crossed, keep it kind of under your hat, but that would be a big deal.
Keep it kind of under your hat. I love that he said that, but then here we are, we're talking about it because it's already gone. It's gone live. A couple of things I like about that is no direct control by the state per se. This is an independent BFA, I guess, kind of an independent agency with regard to that. I do like the fact that they're going to keep half of what they got going on there in Bitcoin. I think that's a plus. And they're going to then use it also thinking Bitcoin backed loans coming up in the future outside of that, it sounds like. So BC, any thoughts about that whole process? By all means, put in your 2 cents there.
I mean, honestly, it's a better way to do it than being like, hey, loan us some money and we'll pay you back in a depreciating asset.
Yeah, right.
So
Right. Yep.
At least they've got like a decent business plan. And I mean, there is less risk, like you said. So, I mean, it's a smart way to do it. We'll see how well it goes. Because I don't know, I think the sailor strategy and things like that have kind of muddied the waters when it comes to like people talking about buying Bitcoin and having it as like an asset and using it to back things. And just with the current way that it's been done has kind of muddied the waters for other people to really do it. Because, you know, like they're talking about it not being like you're not a company, you're a fund. And
Yes.
like it's really kind of like added a layer of complexity to Bitcoin that wasn't there originally, and it'll make people think twice. When they're like, wait, isn't that kind of like Sailor and blah blah? And it's like, no, this is something different. But like they're gonna struggle to get past it because like a lot of people struggle to even understand what Bitcoin is in general.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. And you know, yeah, the Sailor strategy back when he first implemented it, okay, I was on board with that, whatever, you know. But now, as we've seen the leveraging come into play and all this other stuff, I think it's going to end badly. And to the not to that end, but like here we go. We're looking at January, them being basically declared a fund, not a because of how much Bitcoin they own currently, right? I'm sure that's something we'll probably be discussing, Lord knows, on Hodl the Line. So watch for that, you know. But I spent a little bit more time on this because I really do believe that if we can influence our local area, we can influence the state, and then we can influence the national arena. But it has to be taken in that grassroots effort, if you ask me, for a lot of things with regard to politics. And I love Automatic Beats about the pumpkins. Listen, those were amazing pumpkins, first off. And the hosts at the end of the conference were like, man, we can't take all these pumpkins home. So they were literally giving them out free to people. So some of us got to take home some pumpkins. I'm just saying. Just saying. Let's see. What am I missing? Yes. The more you know. That's kind of the idea I get. And you get a lot of this innovation, a lot of this, ideation, in my opinion, from these local areas. I'd
much prefer to have a local economy do something like that than my federal government being involved.
Absolutely.
Screw the federal government in as many ways possible. They don't need to be involved in as much as they're involved with. And if my local economy can do something smarter than them, that doesn't mean that the federal government should adopt it. Maybe you should just kind of go by the wayside and do your own thing, figure out a way to do it more efficiently, and let states actually flourish. Cities and local municipalities need to figure out a way to actually do things better. And, that's one of those things where a local conference really does matter. And like you said, actually people should go to those. And it's you're going to meet people of like mind as you, where you could actually make some sort of difference in your local economy, which is the most important part of your daily life. If you want to see actual change, local is where you do it, because that's what impacts you the most. So
it's where you are. Where you at right there.
You'll actually, and you'll meet local politicians and things like that. And you'll be able to actually bend their ear and take some of their time, even if it's just a few minutes. You know, those few
Yeah.
minutes add up, and every single person that's talking like you that wants to see better, you know, they're potentially going to actually take that into account the next time that something happens.
Yep. When some legislation's starting to be put together. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just want to put one more plug, and then we're going to move on to everything else I got here. But New Hampshire has something called the Free State Project. Basically, they're trying to get all the liberty. I'm not going to do the description any justice, but all the liberty-minded people. You like freedom, you like liberty, you want little to no government in your life. Basically, they're trying to consolidate those mind type of people, the people with that kind of mindset in New Hampshire, and affect through their local legislative process those kind of ideals. And that video that I just showed you, if you actually go back and watch the entire thing, they talk very much through that. So it's definitely something. If that's, I'm not saying move to New Hampshire. I get it. You know, not everybody can uproot and move to New Hampshire. I understand, but like, you know, there are things that you can do. Oh, this is the way I look at it. I have started to support that Free State Project because, you know what, even though I'm not currently living in New Hampshire, I believe that the way that they're focusing on these things in crypto and gold, economically, personal freedoms, all that kind of stuff, hopefully will help to shape the nation one state at a time. My humble opinion. All right. Let's we're going to take a look at the fear and greed. We're going to look at the debt, and we're going to talk about the DOGE. And then
you mean the lack of DOGE?
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's all I got, man. That's like, yeah, exactly. We're gonna listen to P. St. Ange as he talks about foreclosures and delinquencies just kind of skyrocketing. We're going to talk a little bit about the ISO 20022 that went live over the weekend. And again, we're going to talk stocking stuffers. You want some gold? Maybe you want to put it in some stocking stuffers. All right. But let's start out with this. Man, now this isn't as low as it got. I think wasn't it down to like 10 or something like that over the weekend, BC, the fear and greed index? I think it was. Here we are right now at 19. But yeah, look, yesterday's 13. But I feel like it went down somewhere within the last few days, down all the way down to like 10. So we're still in
it got close. It got really close. I think it hit like 11 was the lowest.
There you go, right here. Automatic B saying 10 or 12. Yeah. It was bottom line is it's rocked down to the bottom. So there it is. So hopefully 8 on Friday, RS Miller saying, welcome, RS Miller. Appreciate you being here. And I think I saw Dave Digital in here. I appreciate Dave. Appreciate you being here, man. And so there we go. Bottom line is it's like at the bottom of the freaking tank right now. Okay. As always on Mondays, I like to take a look at where we are with the debt, and used to be the DOGE, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But at least the U.S. debt. So people, if we're sharing this out, we're going to get the word out, hopefully, as to how bad this country is just going into debt on a daily basis. So I do it on a weekly basis, obviously, because live every Monday. And right here, matter of fact, let me bring this up full screen for you so it's a little bit easier to see. When I was live last week, 38,206 billion. And I've been on about the fact that this thing has just been going and like at a super fast rate, excuse me, by comparison to what it was there for the longest time, like in that 29-30 billion dollar range. Well, this week, I guess if you're looking at that, this is a better deal, I guess, right? I don't know. 38 trillion 325 billion. And the DOGE clock down here, I'm not even looking at it because we're going to talk about the DOGE here in a second. But yeah, I hate to see it still going up, but I'm glad it's not going up, 100 billion in a week or 200 billion in a week like we've seen within the last month or so. So I guess take the small wins where we can find them. And okay, here it is. Just you know, DOGE is done. Put a fork in it. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, Elon's backed off of it, what, 4 or 5 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you knew eventually it was just going to be all right. Enough is enough with that. I don't like it. Not gonna lie, don't like it. But that just tells me that Washington, D.C. is the swamp we think it is, in my humble opinion. Your thoughts with regard to DOGE getting the kibosh?
I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. Honestly, when it comes to regulating the government like that, it's gonna be pretty much impossible. It wasn't just Democrats complaining about it. You know, Republicans were complaining about it too, because now departments that they're in charge of and they're a fan of are getting cut. And this means that we can't just fork out free money so that people will, you know, vote for us again. And like it is such a swamp, and it has been for over longer than my entire lifetime. And unless
while you're saying that, I'm going to bring up this comment because you know, I know he's and welcome, by the way. I know he's talking Trump here in this particular case, but you want to know what? You're bringing up the point that it ain't just Trump. It didn't start with Trump. It ain't going to end with Trump. The bullshit has been going on forever on both sides of the aisle.
And it's like it's everyone, because it was talked about a long time ago, and it was the Greeks, the founders of democracy, the founders of republic, and they said that it all works until people figure out that you can just give money to the constituents for votes. And back then it was similar to how it used to be here, where it was like, it was just landowners. So it's like, you didn't have to buy as many votes, but now you have to buy everyone's votes. And what it comes out to is if a department doesn't spend the money, then they don't get the money anymore. So now they get to figure out more BS ways to take our money and put it somewhere else, put it in other countries, make some fake program so that that never actually goes to that country in general. And it's like, we're going to give $3 million to Somalia. Surprise, surprise, the $3 million never made it to Somalia, and we don't know where the heck it went. So and they're not going to stop that. The fact that they allowed the Department of Government Efficiency to go on as long as it did was surprising to me.
And nobody wants and look at what happened, right? Threats, fire bombings, all this other crap. And just again to the point of this, listen, TDS is strong. I understand. But here's the deal. He ain't the worst liar. I'm sorry, he's just not. We've seen so many more which are worse, continue to be worse, and have ruined this country in the process of being worse, in my humble opinion.
People are mad that he's playing the same game that literally they all do. It's the same fucking game. And you can be mad, Orange Man, bad. Orange Man plays same game everyone else does. But the problem is that he's playing the same game that everyone fucking else does. So you can either be mad that Trump is doing it and close your eyes to the fact that everyone else is doing it. But
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because he's saying all of them he's mad because it's obvious. Well, hello.
Yeah, they all do
so
it.
Everybody else, at least he's doing it in the open versus being surreptitious like Biden and everybody else.
People used to joke. It's like, oh, here goes Nancy Pelosi, the best stock trader, but nobody's actually mad about it. I'm mad about it. I'm mad about all of it. It's
right. They're all a bunch of liars and cheats. Absolutely.
You're supposed to be serving the public. And it's not any worse that Trump does it. It's not any better that Trump does it. It is just as bad that he does it as all of the rest of them do. Because it's all a corrupt system, and he's just playing the same game. And the game shouldn't be played like that.
And to be completely out there and fair. It pisses me off that he does it. You want the truth? It
Hmm?
just it pisses me right off. And
It's why I said I never wanted him involved in crypto at all. I never
Yeah.
wanted him advocating for crypto. I never wanted him to push crypto into the federal government. I never wanted him to advocate for a Bitcoin treasury. I never wanted him to open a crypto exchange. All of this is like, it is crypto grifting. Like, you don't give a,
exactly.
he doesn't give a
He's
shit
using
about
crypto where they were using all these slush funds. It's
Mhm.
it's exactly right.
It's all the same game, and like everyone does it in a different way, and they're all benefiting for themselves. And you know who's the only people getting screwed? Me and you and
Me and
everyone
you,
else
baby.
here in this chat. And like, it's like, I know he's, who was it? Automatic Beats getting defensive. No, I'm angry that people only point the finger at Trump instead of pointing it at every single one of them.
Exactly.
Trump is one person. Trump is one person, but there is over 500 people in Congress that are directly voting for these things, that put the pork barrel bills that only benefit them, and they move money around. And like, if your bill can't stand on face value, we gotta like
single issue bills.
Exactly.
Single issue bills. Exactly. You'll never see it, but there should be. There should be. Man, we got way off topic here. Yeah, listen. Yeah, heated because it pisses us off, dude. I get it automatically. I understand. The bottom line is this whole situation pisses us off. And I saw Ali said something about like he was supposed to be the cure to the swamp. Yeah, I get it. That's kind of how he, I guess, campaigned. If that's the right verbiage there. But
that's why you've seen MAGA fracture. It is why you've seen MAGA fracture. It's why you've seen Thomas Massey, who literally put a giant middle finger to Trump's face and dared him to do something. Marjorie Taylor Greene fractured from the MAGA movement. It's because you ran on one thing, but you want to play the same game instead of actually being instead of actually being America first, instead of actually wanting to make America great. And it's like, I figured this was going to happen. He's a politician, you know. Politicians are going to politic as long as we allow them to, and they all do it. You know, every single one of them does it because that's the way it's designed. And until we change the design, until we as Americans are so angry that both Democrats and Republicans are playing the same game to benefit the companies that they're friendly with, where it's like Democrats being friendly with the healthcare system, and they're making millions there and they made millions there, and then Republicans partner with all sorts of companies as well, defense contractors and things like that. And like, it's all, who's winning? We're not winning. Like that whole Trump, you're gonna get so tired. You're gonna get tired of winning. I don't feel like I've won shit. You know, I don't. Like, cool, you talked about crypto, and I care about crypto, but like, that's such a small part of everything.
Yep. No, I get it. I get it. And yeah, Dave, you're right. Okay, I wasn't looking to get into a political conversation here at this point. So we're going to move on in a second here. But this whole shit fandango is literally part of bigger issues that go all the way back to our money supply, go back to our economy. The rot begins with the fiat system. It's that simple in my, well, not that simple. It is that simple in my mind, because guess what? The incentives are skewed because of that system and how they manipulate that system. Again, I get it. Donald is a polarizing, controversial topic here, and again, we're going to move on right now. So appreciate everybody in the comments going on. I really do. But we gotta bring this thing back here and move ourselves on. We're gonna listen to Pete St. Ange here in a second, talking about how foreclosures are jumping and delinquencies, etc. We are going to unfortunately mention Trump one more time as we talk about people in Congress looking to go and have probes into World Liberty Financial. But part of that to me is just part of the TDS we see everywhere, including here in this in this live chat. All right, so here we go. Let's go with this. I don't know if everybody follows Pete St. Onge. I like him. Some of his stuff I think is a little bit wackadoodle, but for the most part, he's pretty good. And where he's hitting on a lot of the stuff with regard to foreclosures and delinquencies, I think it's important because it's obviously, as Piper always tries to point out, indicative of a larger systemic issue. So we're going to listen to a couple of minutes of this, and then BC and I can try and, I don't know, break it down is the right word, but let's see where we are.
The past couple of weeks showed spreading pain among low-income and even middle-class Americans. One study found foreclosures jumped 20% year-on-year after a decade laying dormant. Car loan delinquencies are up 50% this year. In fact, 60-day late car payments hit a record high, worse than 2008. Repossessions hit 1.7 million, also worse than the 2008 crisis. Another study found 68% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That's up 10 points in the last 18 months. 43% of them have trouble paying their monthly bills. Combined with recent jobs weakness, it's painting a picture of essentially three Americas. A rich quarter who's doing fantastic, a middle half who's running down assets and starting to miss payments, and a bottom quarter who's close to going under. Now, this pattern did not start yesterday. In fact, it's the theme of Joe Biden's 4 long years where we got a so-called K-shaped economy with the rich soaring to new heights while everybody else treads water or sinks. To illustrate, a study by Moody's found the top 10% of households now account for 49.2% of spending. That's up almost 5 points since COVID. Interestingly, the bottom quarter also rose since COVID, thanks to trillions dumped into welfare and social spending using COVID as excuse. To illustrate, SNAP alone grew almost 70% since COVID. In other words, the middle class is getting squeezed on both ends.
Okay, you get the point. We're not going to listen to the whole thing there, and it's funny. I want to bring that up. LBC saying, "Hey, I came for this unhinged political discussion. Keep going. Yeah, don't move on." But LBC, that's for you and BC. Maybe now you have this next counter this topic. Just saying.
Oh, we've got a few to go over, so I'm sure Trump will end up being talked about in our next episode.
That's funny. Anyway, thoughts about what Pete St. Onge just kind of went over with increasing in foreclosures, increasing delinquencies, car repos, the basically middle class being squeezed from both ends. I know you talk about this shit all the time, BC. What do you want to add to that?
I mean, it's something that we'll end up talking about more tonight because I sent you an article talking about how people are holding on to things longer because they actually can't really afford to swing buying like a brand new phone or something like that. Yep. And like this is the squeeze that we've been seeing for a while now. Like this is they talk about it once it hits certain metrics, but like they never really started talking about it until it's like, oh, well, people can't afford to, keep the economy going. Now we're a little bit worried when it's like there's simple ways to fix it. And they want to look at the symptoms of the problems they made. And the problem that they made is that they're going off of MMT. They're destroying the dollar's value, and it's a race to the bottom against us and every other country. And whoever gets closest to zero without actually hitting zero is the winner. Like that's how MMT goes. And then they're like, wait, we actually are like we're making it harder for everyone to live. Who would have thunk it? And it's going to keep going. It's never going to get better. I'm just gonna, until we change the money, it's never going to get better. So we're going to continue to see the middle class get squeezed. The people that pay a giant amount of your local taxes, they're going to keep getting squeezed as the dollar becomes worth less and less and less, and like toilet paper will end up being more valuable than your dollar is.
Right.
So it's a race to the bottom, and but America just seems to be holding up a little bit better because we have more buying power, but we're slowly eroding that.
Yeah, we got the printer, baby.
Mhm.
It's man. Basically what I was saying earlier. So thank you, BC. Probably much more eloquent than I did for that matter. It's the unfortunate nature of the thing, and he's right. Until the money is fixed, we're screwed, basically, in a nutshell right here. But let's move on back to the TDS department here. But you got U.S. senators calling for federal probes into WLFI, and you know what? I don't know federal probes, but bottom line is, again, like we were talking about, I don't appreciate what he's got going. I don't appreciate what he's doing. I don't appreciate how the family's grifting off of all of this. None of that stuff. So, it is what it is. Unfortunately, I don't see it changing, even if we did a probe, using my air quotes there, that's going to change it all. BC, anything you want to throw in on that before I keep us moving here?
Just keep going.
Okay, just keep it going. All right, fair enough. Listen, over the weekend, matter of fact, I think Billy Goat Tales went over this yesterday. I didn't get a chance to see them live. I was like so on the road. I was so busy yesterday, and then grandkids. I was just no chance. But anyway, ISO 20022 live over the weekend. Basically, the change in the SWIFT system, and here they're highlighting the ISO coins and how coin market cap has a separate listing, I guess. You know how you can break it down into different sectors of the ISO 20022 coins. I guess my question is, like, does it really matter? I mean, I thought it did way back, like when this first got announced. What is it now, man? Like 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that, when they talked about this change in the standard coming, and where these coins were already compliant with that standard. So I kind of felt like there would be more to it, and maybe long term there might be, but right now, I mean, I don't see any major pump since everything went live. So I'm guessing it's a nothing burger, or at least for now. BC, what do you think? What's your thoughts about that ISO 20022?
I mean, I've been waiting for this. It's kind of nice to actually see the technology acknowledged as an actual technological use case, instead of what coin make my dollars increase. Because like, crypto is a technology. It was a technological revolution. And to see it actually acknowledged as a technological revolution is nice. To have the government kind of involved in it, you probably know my feelings on that.
You love government.
Government's the best. I would love for them to govern me harder, because I don't feel like they govern me enough. But
I'm clipping this, BC. I'm clipping this. Yeah.
But like it's the same feelings, kind of like it's a mixed bag. I would prefer this acknowledgement of crypto as opposed to buy the crypto ETF. Because the crypto ETF doesn't acknowledge crypto as a technology, whereas in this one does. But I'm not a fan of any government involvement in crypto in general, because crypto was supposed to be a decentralized entity that doesn't need government involvement. And when it really comes down to it, the government really can't get involved. You know, they can try to get involved. They can talk about, oh, well, you can't buy from this exchange. Like, look what happened when they try to, like, they've tried to regulate. They tried to say that you can't buy like a XMR on exchanges. Did it kill XMR? No. XMR is still here. It always will be, because it is a decentralized entity, and they didn't stop anyone that actually wanted to purchase it from purchasing it and using it as a technology. So it's like it's a mixed bag. I appreciate it more than an ETF did, but like it's still
Yeah. And Dave, as far as I'm aware, no, it's nothing, definitely nothing to do with crypto. And as far as I'm aware, not necessarily blockchain per se. It's about the update of the protocols of the Swift system. Yeah, like I think you're starting to say right here. And that's, supposed, use my air quotes again, supposed to bring us into the 21st century as far as money movement is concerned, but we've already seen that blockchain can do that better and more efficiently, and again without the banks in the proverbial middle. All right, we got a couple more things to go over, and appreciate BC being here. What a lively conversation we've had with BC here. Appreciate it. So let's move on. This I just wanted to highlight, because every time I see stuff like this going on, to me it just like totally shouts crypto adoption, and I think it needs to be, yes, thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? So New Zealand, to teach school kids basically about crypto, digital currency will be added to the financial curriculum for years 1 through 10 starting in 2026. With a full mandatory rollout by 2027. All I say is winner, winner, chicken proverbial dinner. It's like more people that understand, the better it's going to be, not only for the industry, but for them with regard to getting into crypto, or, just getting out of whatever fiat crap system that they happen to be in whatever country. I'm about to go. Unfortunately, we're going to go talk about elections again in a second here, but BC, anything you want to add on that before we go down this road?
No.
Okay, fair enough. I just didn't want to like cut you off completely there. Sorry. Okay, so again, from Crypto in America, Eleanor Tourette, basically talking about Stand With Crypto. You guys have heard of that PAC that's basically looking, they amongst others, looking to advocate for cryptocurrency in DC. But basically they're gearing up for 2026 midterms at this point, which, hey, they probably should. It's literally a year away. Stand With Crypto, one of the industry's top advocacy groups, is gearing up for 2026 midterms by surveying federal and state candidates. I like the fact that they are including state candidates, by the way, on where they stand on key crypto issues. The survey sent out this week asked candidates about their views on individual rights of like self-custody, innovation, debanking, crypto mining, consumer protections, and more. And what this ends up doing, obviously, is giving your candidates a rating on how crypto friendly they are, that kind of thing. And again, I like the fact that they are going and putting that into like the state level as well for these state candidates, because that helps, like BC and I were just highlighting and all that stuff from earlier, where, this or potential changes need to start at this grassroots level. Thoughts? Now, that being said, Standing With Crypto is not necessarily my favorite advocacy group. Just going to put that out there with regard to cryptocurrency, but we need the advocacy is the bottom line, because if you don't play the game, we're going to get nowhere with regard to things. And it's only going to get worse. Then you get another Biden administration in there, and they're just like pummeling us with regulation through enforcement, in my opinion. BC, anything you want to add to that before we get to our last item up for bids here?
Honestly, if you're going to find a politician that's going to like be supportive of crypto, then you should be finding your local politicians.
Yes.
And like, it doesn't matter what the federal government does about crypto. Like, most of what they're going to do is probably going to break crypto anyway. And if you want to see if you want to see crypto used for its actual best use cases, it's going to be at the most local levels.
Yep. No, I agree. And again, for those who might be coming in later, go back to the beginning of this live stream on the replay and check out the whole thing about New Hampshire. New Hampshire, in my opinion, is one of the states here in the United States that is leading the way. So go ahead and check that out. Okay, holidays are coming. We're always on the hunt for stocking stuffers, right? Boom. Well, guess what? MetalMark got a huge sale going on. And if you like goldbacks and aurums, MetalMark has some of the best aurums, if you ask me. Link in the description to MetalMark. Go ahead and use that if you want to get some of these. But they got a whole Christmas edition going on. And there's a couple of things I want to point out because I actually brought this up on Friday night on Crypto on the Rocks. And on Friday night, one of them was already sold out. And I want to note that, like you can see here, they got the Santa Claus one and they've got the Santa's Helper. The prices on these have gone up by around, I don't know, 15 cents or something, I think, since Friday night stream. So obviously tied to the price of gold. So maybe buying it earlier is better. Well, buying it earlier is better if you're looking to do that, I think, anyway, just for the simple fact that you don't want it to be sold out if you're looking for a stocking stuffer, right? So there we go. I'm going to bring some of these up a little bit bigger just to kind of give you a look at these. You guys know I advocate diversity with gold. I love gold backs and all that kind of stuff. But look at that. I love the like intricacy on these aurums right here. MetalMark all over it with regard to this. That's the Santa one, 100 milligrams. They still have it in stock. So there's that one. Sorry. Where's the link to go back? I'm screwing everything up here. Here's the Santa's Helper one. Again, same amount, 100 milligrams. Look at that. I love
That's
the
so
artwork.
cool.
Yeah. It's just crazy amazing. How do they say amaze balls? It's amaze balls. Then you got the gingerbread man aurum. I mean, if you're into gingerbread men for the holiday, here you go. Again, 100 milligrams. Absolutely amazing. And if you are Jewish, we got the one for Hanukkah here. Same 100 milligrams. And look, it's saying right here, this wasn't the case on Friday. Low stock, only 10 remaining. That's crazy. So like over the weekend, obviously these things were starting to fly out. So if you're looking to do stocking stuffers, this might be your time to do it. And then obviously as you scroll down here, as a matter of fact, I thought there was one more. Maybe it's gone completely and they pulled it.
Maybe it's sold out.
Yep. Wow. But that's the other one.
Those aren't.
And there we go, right here. Oh, there it is, right here. Here it is. All right, I wasn't completely crazy. Right here, sold out. The Christmas, Merry Christmas one. Why is this not going there?
Oh,
sold out.
Oh, it is sold out. That's why.
Yep, there it is. But I mean, look at I'm hoping they bring that back here. You know, like they're able to mint more before the holidays actually arrive. But I'm gonna say no, given the amount of intricacy that you see in those. I don't know. I love these aurums. I love the gold backs with all the way they're breaking up the state gold backs and all that kind of stuff. Thoughts with regard to, I know you love gold, BC. So thoughts with this?
It's kind of nice to see an actual push into something other than like my girl's son gets the silver dollars for Christmas every year. It's kind of nice to see it being pushed into something that's more artistic and that'll actually like get your kids involved, where it's like, oh, look at this, it's actually cool. You could spend it, but like if you have any sense, because they're going to keep printing fiat dollars, then you would just hold it, you know. Like it's not only just a piece of art, but it's also a valuable piece of art that can be used as money eventually.
I was going to say, yeah, well, depending on what state you're in, could be used as money now. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what state you're living in.
There's 5 states so far, and that push doesn't seem to be slowing down.
Nope.
And that's like another big thing. Paired with crypto, we do need a big sound money push. You know, the federal government can print all of their dollars, but we need to have a push outside of the federal government, just denoting the only dollars that we have in our system, and being able to use something that is less toilet paper and more sound money. Because gold keeps an accounting of all fiat dollars, which is why the price of gold will continue to go up as long as they continue to print more fiat dollars.
Yep, no, facts. And my Jewish family would love gold for Christmas. There you go. There it is. There it is. I'll tell you what, and yeah, it's crazy. I'm surprised, honestly. Well, like I said, the prices were different even from Friday, and obviously stuff is selling out. We got that one with the Hanukkah one on the way out the door. 10 of them left at sale this moment. So, man, if you're looking to do that, you're looking for those kind of stocking stuffers. Man, there you go. Get on it. Get on it before they're gone. That's it, folks. That's what I got for today. Obviously, well, you know what? Maybe I'll let BC rant for a second here, and I'll go look and see. Well, I'll go look and see if there's someone I can forward over to. Normally, if Joe were here, I'd forward over to. He usually does a bonus stream, that kind of thing. Thank you, Automatic Beats. I appreciate it. With BC here, it's always a good stream, and you guys in the chat, man. You guys is on fire. I appreciate the political commentary. And if this was a different show, I probably would have just went down that road and we'd be live for about 3 hours. Well,
I mean, if we did take it down that, if you actually want a view of my politics, then check out my show that I do with LBC. It's called Counter This. I know it might seem like Automatic Beat said it seems like a defense of Trump. It's only because I'm saying this because I only ever really hear one side from one side and one side from another side.
Right.
When it's a Republican that's in office, Democrats are angry and Republicans are going to defend them no matter what choice they make. When a Democrat's in office, Democrats are going to defend them no matter what the choice the Democrat makes, and Republicans are going to be angry. When at the end of the day, they're both playing the same game. They're very in like most ways, they're just hurting us and not actually helping us. And even when they try to help us, they hurt us more than they help us. Well, it's like Obamacare helped in small ways, but it destroyed things more than it helped anything. And in some ways, like some things that Trump has done might actually help us in the long run, but all it's doing right now is hurting us in our current position where things cost a little more and all of that. But it's like, I haven't voted for a federal politician my entire life because they're all fucks, you know, every single one of them. I have voted for select politicians in my local area that I actually believe in, that will actually make a difference in my local life. Things like the sheriff, who actually has a different policy on how you're going to run things on like the local level of law enforcement. Those are the things that impact my life. Whereas like the federal government has very, very minute impacts on my daily life. And the things that I care more about is what is going on my local level. And like, I'm angry about both sides, where it's like, I'm kind of, sometimes I'm like, it might seem like a defense, whereas I'm actually just angry that like the fingers aren't being pointed everywhere, because like LBC said, it's like people say pick the lesser of two evils. They're both fucking evil. Fuck both of them. Like,
Yeah.
why would you want to pick the lesser of two evils? That sounds like a terrible option. We should be demanding better. And as citizens, we need to be demanding accountability of these politicians. We don't need to be letting them screw us over. We need to demand accountability instead of having the government regulate the government, which it's never going to do.
Oh, hell no.
We need to make the accounting of the department of like a Department of Government Efficiency. Like, it's all been running wrong, and the only people that can actually change it is us coming together. And if we don't point the finger at every single person that is doing the wrong thing.
I saw it. I just had to put it up there. I love automatic beats. There you go, man. There you go.
We need to point the finger at all of them, not just one person. Like, the more credence we give to like the president being a strong figure, as opposed to the 600 people that run Congress, those 600 people have way more power than the one president, you know?
Yeah,
and those
exactly.
are the people that are actually voting on the laws and putting those laws into effect,
Creating
and
them,
shoving pork barrel fat on top of a bill where it's like, okay, well, you're going to get health care, but like this state's going to get a park, and this state's going to get billions of dollars for park benches, and this state's going to get this, and that state's going to get that, and you're going to get library funding. Like, that's all BS. Why isn't that state doing that own thing?
Absolutely.
So,
And
like, I'm angry at all of them.
Well,
I'm angry at every single one of them. And I wish people would point the finger at every single one of them, because it's not just Republicans, and it's not just Democrats, and it's not just the Green Party and the Libertarian. Like, they're all doing it.
Yeah.
They're all playing the same game. Because
it's set up for the game. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And until we restructure things in a different way, they're going to continue playing the same game. And until we decide that we're not going to allow them to have a Federal Reserve that denotes how our economy is going to be, and we're going to be in charge of our own economy. Like, these are all the things that we need to come together and agree on. Otherwise, the game is going to keep being played the same game.
And we're the ones who are going to keep losing.
Yeah. And the shiniest turd on whichever side is going to keep getting the presidency. And they're going to, like, in one hand they're going to give, and in the other hand they're going to take way more than they gave you.
Absolutely. And Dave Digital summing it up absolutely right. Even if it is not the shiny turd he's got there. No, it is the shiny turd. All right, that's it. You got another political rant without wanting a political rant. All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up, and then you guys are gonna be excuse me, redirected to Dan O Crypto. It looks like he's still live, so we're gonna head over there. But BC, what do you got going on? Seeing you here, tell everybody if you got anything good to pass on for this week.
So I mean, since y'all heard a little bit of the rant on today's stream, a lot of this will get brought up this weekend when it comes to me, LBC, and Crux of Crypto will be there as well. We'll be talking about how we get the financial interests away from politicians, whether it be like having the revolving door with the FDA, where like I ran the FDA and I was super nice to these drug companies, so now they're going to have me run their drug company, or politicians having super PACs and things like that sway the voting. These are the kinds of things that we're going to discuss, of how we actually get the political system to work for us again.
That sounds great. I can't wait for that. Again, counter this. You should be following it. Make sure when you go there, you subscribe. Matter of fact, BC, I'm not sure that I have a link for that in the description. Can you drop that in the chat so anybody who wants to go over to that channel can do so? Anything else you got going this week beside that that we should know about? I mean,
no, I will be doing a Thanksgiving stream on Thanksgiving. And there will be a giveaway on that stream. I'm not sure who all is going to be there just yet. I need to send out a few messages. If you're available, you're more than welcome to join. And then I'm going to ask a few other people as well if they want to join on that stream.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that to me. I will, depending on the time of the stream, I will definitely be jumping on in there. Perfect. And yes. BC just dropped that link in the chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, let me wrap up what I got going and we're out of here. So tonight, BC, myself, BC, and Crypto Bedell will be live 7 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you're checking out Hot of the Line for tonight. Tomorrow night, myself, Crypto Jar, back at it with Matrix Money Podcast. Now, Wednesday morning, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be live at 11 a.m. Again, day before Thanksgiving, I kind of got to I got a feeling I'm going to have a bunch of last minute stuff I got to get done. So that may not happen this week. I'll keep you guys in the loop. Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, Crypto on the Rocks. We'll talk turkey. Okay, there we go. That's what I got with that. And listen, one other change that's coming. I haven't got all the details in place yet. But these 11 a.m. streams that I've been doing on Monday and Wednesday are probably going to be changing come January. I'm probably going to be changing them to premieres, and I'm going to be dropping in a different format. So basically taking a topic, breaking it down, giving my opinion, and then trying to give you some thoughts to go ahead and do your own follow-up and help you here in the cryptocurrency space. It's called Crypto Mindset Minutes. I figure they'll be about 15 to 30 minutes. It's still a bit of a work in progress, folks, but I'm looking to launch that in place of these live streams starting in January. So watch for that. All right, we're heading out. BC, thanks again, man, for being here. I really appreciate you. And again, I know it was last minute, so I appreciate you being here.
Not a problem. And I got you to over an hour. So
I know, right? All right. Well, thanks again, man. I'll see you again tonight. All right, folks, we're out. Have a good day. And when you get over to Dano Crypto, you know the drill. CCM raid in the chat. All right. Later.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday, folks.